Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We have been so far delivering lecture on the soil, its feature, erosions, air, water, soil. Now we are coming to another aspect, that is the ecosystem. So ecosystem, as this picture indicates, includes plants, soil, physical, biological part. Before we explain things, just think of any natural habitat around you or in vicinity of your village house. Do you see some plants, animals, creatures of different kinds, shape and size? Within that habitat, you see plants, animals, creature of different kinds, shape, size. You also see earth, that means soil, water is there, clouds in the sky, rainfall if it is raining, organic matter deposited by the organisms, and you can feel the temperature, whether the temperature is high or low or medium, humidity, dry air or wet air, moving air, that's a movement of the air, different gases, smells or fragrance, and heaps of waste. Think of all these 4, 5, 6 different items. We would be discussing these things under different titles. All these things fall into two basic categories: living thing or living environment. It is very much clear that living thing means all living things, right from the micro to macro level, from bacteria to high trees, elephants, whatever, what organism is living. And the other component is the non-living things, non-living environment. So non-living environment like soil, water, air, temperature, humidity, rain, snow, rocks. So any even dead organic matter would be coming in this. Now the living and non-living things interact with each other. In nature, living, non-living things, they do not live in isolation. They have an interaction, influence, effect on each other and among themselves and that of the surrounding living things. So the living and non-living things interacting with each other and among themselves that surrounds a living thing makes up a living system. This living system is called ecological system or ecosystem. Let me give you a little bit more explanation. Living and non-living things interact, that living things need water, air, soil. This is one kind of interaction. Living things interact among themselves, that is plants, they are grazed, small animals eaten by large animals, bacteria feed on the animals or on the organic matter. This is interaction of the living with the non-living. So any system, any area of nature, any part where these living things are present and non-living things are present and they are interacting with each other, then this is called an ecological system or simply ecosystem. Definition, if you come to a definition, thus keep this thing in mind now: within a certain natural habitat, unit, area, living and non-living things live together interdependently and interacting with each other. Such a system is called an ecological system or ecosystem. ecosystem. Tinsley probably for the first time defined the term ecosystem. He says, or according to him, it is a biological entity that includes both biotic and abiotic components. An ecosystem is formed by the interactions between all living and non-living things in a common habitat. Habitat should be common, the same place, same habitat. It tells how living and non-living things interact with each other, each other and with the environment. It also shows how living and non-living things interact within that environment. This is a picture of the Tinsley I downloaded. So he died at the age of 84 years. Now, again a question is coming, what is an ecosystem? An ecosystem is a natural unit consisting of all plants, animals, or microorganisms which would make biotic factor or biotic component or biotic environment in a unit area functioning together with all the non-living physical, that is abiotic component or abiotic environment factors of the environment. So this would be simply ecosystem. Ecological system or ecosystem is a system of living things that interact with each other and with physical world. Now on a larger scale we call biome. Biome is a collection of related ecosystems. That is a major ecosystem in which certain minor ecosystems are there. That is a biome. It occupies a definite geographical area, geographical place. The best definition is given by Oldham in his book. An area of nature that includes living organisms, that is the biotic community, non-living substances, physical environment. Now see the change in the definition. Interacting with each other, interaction is there. This interaction may be positive, negative, neutral, whatever, but think at this moment, think of interaction, interacting with each other so that a flow of energy leads to a clearly defined trophic structure, biotic diversity, and material cycle. So the conventional definition was interaction of living, non-living things in a common habitat. Oldham has a little bit further clarified interaction with each other, that is the biotic part, the components interacting among themselves, abiotic part interacting among themselves, so that a flow of energy is formed. There is a flow of energy from producers to consumers, tertiary, primary, and top consumers to clearly defined trophic structure, so that a food level is there. There are herbivores, there are carnivores, there are secondary carnivores, third order carnivores, and biotic diversity, that is variation, biological variation is there in terms of animals, in terms of plants, in terms of microbes, in terms of microbial population, and cycling of the material occurs, that is biogeochemical cycles are there. Ecosystem shows variations. All ecosystems show variations, but something is common to them. Ecosystems vary in shape, size, structure, occurrence, their related ecological interaction and adaptation. They vary in shape, they vary in size, they vary in structure, they vary in their occurrence, where they are located. They also vary in their ecological interaction and adaptations. Aquatic ecosystems are adapted to water, desert ecosystems are adapted to desert conditions, and the terrestrial ones are to normal conditions. Humid plants are adapted to humid condition, tropical rainforest. So, thus, there are forest, ponds, grasslands, meadows, marshes, deserts, alpine, peaks, and even a small garden or a pond or a flora or a fauna on a tree on a single leaf are all examples of various types of ecosystem. Think of variation in forests, think of variation in ponds, think these variation in grasslands. Forests may be small, forests may have different size, ponds may have different sizes, grasslands may have different sizes, their structure is different, so their related adaptations are different. So this all comes in the properties of the ecosystem. When we think of a world as a global ecosystem, the entire world is one big, gigantic ecosystem with varied subsystems. For example, from tropical to Arctic or alpine regions are parts of the global ecosystem. In Pakistan, we can say we have ecosystem on the altitudinal basis, that is the tropical dry ecosystem, subtropical system, the temperate system, dry temperate system, wet temperate system, subalpine system, and alpine system, and ultimately the cold deserts. These are different on a global basis. Latitudinally, along the equator, they are all wet ecosystems, hot ecosystems, then temperate, Arctic, tundra, and snow-covered area glaciers. Compare a pond with a forest. Just compare a pond with a forest, with a meadow, with a desert. All differ from each other in their component species, that is, and the physical habitat conditions and their ecological adaptations. So, pond, forest, meadow, desert, all are ecosystems, but they differ in size, in shape, in color, in components, and their physical habitat conditions, in abiotic features, and their adaptations related to the physical conditions. 6 components of ecosystem have been given by Odom. He thinks inorganic substances. These include material cycling or biogeochemical cycles. Climatic regimes, they include climatic factors like rainfall, humidity, snowfall, temperature, winds, clouds. All of them, they vary in different regions of the world, and they also interact also. Rainfall interacts with the temperature, clouds interact with the air. So, and third is the organic matter compound. They link biotic and abiotic components. For example, proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and humid substances, they are there in the organic compounds. Fourth is the producers. Producers simply are green plants, autotrophic organisms, green plants, which produce energy, which produce food, or there could be chemotrophic organisms also. Chemotrophic organisms are those producers which can at least produce for themselves. The green plants, they produce energy, food, in the form of the leaves, in the form of stem, in the form of fruit, in the form of feed, in the form of grain crops for themselves as well as for all humanity. Macro consumers, phagotrophs, they are heterotrophic organisms including herbivores, carnivores, and higher level of carnivores, secondary or primary carnivores, secondary carnivores, tertiary carnivores, feeding upon other organisms. Grazing animals comes under this category. Micro consumers, that is, which consume organic matter. They are also called decomposers or saprotrophs. They are heterotrophic microorganisms. They cannot manufacture, prepare their own food, but they depend upon the decaying organic matter. For example, bacteria, fungi, microalgae, which run the biogeochemical cycles and degrade the material into to release the nutrients for the higher plants or for the higher organism. From the functional point of view, there, there are six components: energy circuits, flow of energy; food chain, transfer of food; diversity pattern in time and space, that is the diversity of plants, diversity of animals at different times and in different spaces, locations; nutrient cycling, biogeochemical cycle; development and evolution is happening and control. Then there are cybernetics, that ecosystem control themselves either by decreasing population or by increasing population or by modifying their growth behavior. Ecosystem is separated into two strata lying one above the other. There are two strata. One strata forms consist of green belts, green plants, which manufacture the food, traps the solar energy, they are autotrophic, and prepare food. This is upper layer where light energy is available. This is photosynthetic zone, and this is for producers or producer plants. Below these it comes the brown belt with maximum heterotrophic metabolism. Maximum means maybe there are sometime in soil microalgae which may produce at a micro level, but majority of these are they are maximum heterotrophic metabolic organism is there. They are consumers. Here organic matter accumulates. This is heterotrophic zone where only consumers are present. Thank you very much. Up to this thing, we will further discuss it. Thank you very much. Till the next